Carson here, checking in for another one-man review. Got a really special comic here, very short, but the format of it is so cool, I have to share it. I got this one from Menachem at Escape Pod Comics in Huntington Beach, New York. Probably one of the best comic shops out there, definitely the best comic retailer I know. Menachem's just an amazing guy. He's been a huge supporter of all of our work, huge supporter of Strange Death of Alex Raymond, You Don't Know Jack, all of our product. Very helpful to us with the whole misprinting debacle and letting us know that our books were coming to shops and all of that kind of stuff. The other thing about Menachem is I obsessively follow his Instagram feed for Escape Pod because he's always showing what all his new product is, and he has such a good eye and good taste and such a wide variety of interests in comics. I'm always stumbling across things that I wouldn't even hear of otherwise, and this was one of them where I saw it like in a mix of a bunch of other stuff. I don't even think he had zoomed in on this particularly, but I contacted him. I was like, dude, what is that? I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but I gotta get one, and he was kind enough to send me one along. So this is called Sprats for Gillian, by M.R. Canning. I kind of wonder if M.R. Canning is a pseudonym, given that the story is about like a meat packing facility. It's a risograph comic, which is something I want to talk to Sean about and get a better idea of what that process is. There's some other books I have that are printed in that process as well. This one was printed, let's see if we can get that. It's printed by Duplicate Press in London. The acetate cover was inkjet printed at home, and this is an edition of 50 by Matt Canning. So yeah, I guess that is his real name, in 2020. So that's really cool. Super limited edition. It does have this acetate cover, so it's on a little clipboard, and then it has the, I didn't pull the sticker off because I wanted to keep it maintained, but it has an acetate cover. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but it has drawings of fish printed all over it, and you would either take that off, or I just flipped it off to get a hold of the risograph prints inside. There, maybe you can get a better picture of the fish. And then it's a story of a man that works at a packing facility, and he's packaging the fish. Well, actually, he's packaging chicken, and he finds this little chicken and falls in love with it. Wonderful cartooning too, very Chris Ware type of simple cartooning, rhythmic panel styles. Love that, the 3 against 4 here. But he gives the little chickie a fish, and he takes it home and he raises it, and teaches the chicken a talent, and takes the chicken onto a talent show, and basically becomes best buddies. Yeah, they're hanging out, listening to music, becoming buddies. He's teaching it to catch food, stack fish. They go on the talent show, and eventually the chicken dies, and he gets all depressed, and then he goes back to work, and fish falls out, and you see, he's probably going to repeat this cycle with fish. So very short story, not a huge lot of content in there. It's sad and sweet, but to me, where the interesting content comes from is the presentation of the book. So you can see early on in the story here, he's got a clipboard and he's checking things off on the clipboard. And I love that they took the physical object that is important to the character's job and kind of starts the story. He's checking off day-old chicken, and that's where he finds the baby chick, the live one amongst all the dead ones. So that physicality, I'm always looking in comics for formal ways of tying me to the emotive content of the story, and like when the physicality of the object brings me into the story more. I think that's a really interesting trick. So in this case, I don't think you could do a long comic in this format. You couldn't stack too many things on here, but because me holding the actual object puts me a little bit more in the space of the guy. You know, I become the guy a little bit. That emotive impact of like being a sad person who's in this grindy job and makes this special relationship with this little baby chickie and then grow up and become friends and lose it. Like to pack all of that emotional punch into a short story and back it up by putting me in the place of the character holding the same clipboard he was holding. I think that's a fascinating way to create meaning through the physical nature of the book. As we move, especially as we move into an era where there's really no reason for me to own most physical books. Like a Marvel or DC comic. There's really, other than me just wanting to be able to grab it off the shelf and flip through it rather than pulling up a file on my tablet and flipping through it. It's easier to just grab the physical book. But books almost kind of have to justify themselves now. Why is this a physical object? Why is this story not just as well consumed on a tablet in a digital format? And I think projects like this, it's forcing more projects like this where artists are thinking about the physical nature of the book has to contribute to the actual content, the meaning of the story. And I love that. So any comics like this where the physicality enhances the meaning, please tell me about them. Please tell me where to find them. I think this is kind of the future of where physical comics and books, novels as well, need to go to. So thank you so much, Menachem, and thank you to M.R. Canning for making such an interesting book. This little plastic sheet up top, I don't think it's too important to the narrative, but as a design choice, it's beautiful, and it is the thing that really got me hooked into the visual, was this idea of the overlaid image. That's something else I think as we move into this discussion about physicality. I think there's tricks available in this kind of see-through format as well. So I'm interested if people know of comics that use transparency in their production. I would really love to see some stuff like that as well. Oh, it's got a little, I could even hang it. I could hang this in my house. That's great. So thanks so much for checking out this short. If there's only 50 copies of these, I don't know if there's any left, but if you can find yourself a copy of this, I think this will eventually be a collector's item worth having. And I'm going to have to look up and see if M.R. Canning has done any more work, because this is such a clever piece. I'm assuming there's more clever work out there. Thank you all. Make sure to check out Strange Death of Alex Raymond. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.